Hey guys, Rebel Engine 95, recording live from Loki County Prison Cell. Not quite actually, now that I think about it. Um, yeah, I'm on vacation again, so that's why my voice is a little low. That's why the setting is different. That's why the camera angle is a little different. Um, I'm just. I meant to do this before I left, and I couldn't get it done, so I gotta get it done now. That's why it's also being recorded at 10 o'clock at night, where I am anyway. So I, I've I've actually been stockpiling a lot of fights while on vacation. Funny enough, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do them like rapid fire. Like tomorrow one to next day one. No, that's not. But there have been a lot of fights that have just like, for no real reason, spiked up in popularity that I've noticed. Like I've seen multiple different trailers and videos for them. I've seen multiple different requests for them on forums. All this different stuff that's like this is recommended. And this is also one that's been recommended for a while. This is going to be Kefka from Final Fantasy VI, Kefka Palazzo, and Loki, Loki, Nordic last name, from Marvel. So, a while, probably like the third or fourth fight I ever did, um, I did Sephiroth and Kefka, and that was actually a fight that people wanted. Like that was a death battle that people thought, "Yo, this should be it," because I think 13 was like the newest Final Fantasy 12, like 12 or 13. I think 13 might have just come out, um, as like the newest Final Fantasy game, and you know we didn't have a ton that was like iconic in Final Fantasy. So those were the, like Kefka and Sephiroth were the Final Fantasy villains. So it's like, and yeah, they interacted in Dissidia, but it was never like, we never got like a proper fight. And these were the two characters that like it was always the debate, like who's better, Sephiroth, and a lot of people argued Kefka's a real villain, Sephiroth's just an edgelord, and you know everyone else said screw you, Sephiroth's more iconic. Nobody played six, like that's it, like that was the kind of debate that went on. So before anyone's like what an idiot Sephiroth Kefka, that was like the correct fight for both characters for a very long time. Um, then for time, yeah, Sephiroth Virgil's probably better, and but since Sephiroth Kefka's not gonna happen, this is probably the best Kefka fight I can think of. I've thought of stuff with like marks or not thought of, seen stuff with like marks and whatnot, but like this is like perfect. This is like a perfect Kefka fight and a perfect Loki fight for that matter. It works both ways. So I can kind of go into the backstories a little bit, but like the as I'll explain later, the powers of these two are kind of too varied and too like all around to really count off. So it's gonna have to be more. Yeah, I'll explain it a little more later. So Kefka was a. I don't know all of the names of everything from six, so you'll have to bear with me here. But Kefka was a. I believe he was a general. He was like a general, or he was some high-ranking officer in a military, and was chosen to go through an Esper experimentation, where they would transfer the power of magical beings known as Espers, which came from another dimension, essentially, full of magic, and transfer a part of their magic into the user. This worked extraordinarily well with Kefka and made him one of the strongest magic users in his kingdom. It also shattered his mind and made him like batshit insane and a chaotic like sociopath whose only goal was like the sadistic ruin of everything around him. Um, and of course, when you have a lunatic craving power who's also been given the power to go seek out that power, he's going to get more power. So he did, and he kept doing the Esper experimentation before he found out there was actually a more efficient means of doing it. And the point is, he's got a lot of different fucking. I think they said in like the hundreds. He's got like the powers of like hundreds of different Espers. To and then finally, he made his way to the three statues, which were the three actual gods of that world, who were who were intentionally, misaligned. As the story goes, three gods fought and almost destroyed the world, so they agreed to seal themselves off in the statues, and if they were ever joined together, wreak havoc on, destroy the world again. Um, Kefka, now having the ability to absorb, you know, the magical energy of beings, that was the more efficient means that I was talking about, pushed these statues together and absorbed all of the magic of three gods. So he became a god, basically, or at the very least had the power of three different ones. With that alone, he was able to erect a tower out of thin air, create, a giant fucking Eye of Sauron laser that would smite anything that would just incinerate anything that dare questioned him from wherever he was. He fucking, he like, and then he gains like this giant seraphic fucking wing form where he, you know, he gains like all these wings and just becomes this, like I said, becomes this godlike figure. Um, there are a few things about it, like everything he does with magic is tied to his being. So if he's killed, everything kind of vanishes. But I mean, like, if he's killed, he's killed. It's a death battle, so it doesn't really matter. But but yeah, Kefka's one of the strongest fucking. Kefka's stronger than Sephiroth. I don't think there's any dispute there. Kefka is stronger than Sephiroth. So yeah, whether or not who's the best character, that's different. But like Kefka is definitely stronger than Sephiroth, even safer Sephiroth. um, Going into Loki. So Loki is the what is it? The son of Ymir, I believe, the frost giant, and I think it's implied that his mother was human, and that's why he was born smaller and human-like. Um, but that's where he got the inherence for magic. The inherent. That's where he got the fucking, the he was very talented at magic just from the start, and he was adopted as he was the adopted son of Odin and the adopted brother of Thor. So he was raised by Odin, raised in Asgard, taught Asgardian magic, Asgardian knowledge, combat and everything. And the Asgardians are essentially a well, this is something I've never liked about Marvel. They'll acknowledge that like gods exist, right? Like Hercules is a god, and these people exist. But then with with Asgard, with the Norse mythology, they're like, oh no, they're just an advanced race of people that became good. Well, that kind of breaks the illusion, doesn't it? It's besides the point. So, Asgardians are naturally superhuman levels of strength, durability, speed, whatnot. And they're just naturally superhuman, and they're naturally adept at magic, or at least utilizing magic and to do things we do with technology. And it is considered to be magic. It's not like there's a lot of like, no, it's not magic, it's Asgardian science. Well, Doctor Strange considers it magic, and if he doesn't fucking know magic, I mean, really. So Loki's also one of the high caliber sorcerers in Marvel. I don't know if he's like Doom Strange level, but he's up there. A lot of it being with the inherent magic that he carries as a being of the Nine Realms. uh, he's done things like Broken Cap Shield. He's done things like he's fought the Avengers and Thor, but I don't. Death Battle would probably scale him to Thor, which I don't think is fair. Maybe in like magic power, but not in like physical strength. They'd say, oh, because he's an Asgardian, he scales to Thor. Thor is very clearly like Loki is the Scar to Thor's Mufasa. You know what I mean? Like he's I got the shallow end of the gene pool, even though they're not actually related to that. You get what I'm saying? Like Thor. Maybe it doesn't really matter because he'd be superhuman anyway, but Loki's not as strong as Thor. It defeats the purpose if that were the case. Um. So in a matchup with these two, as I said before, their powers are really too vast um to say of. I mean, there's like every form of energy manipulation, every teleportation, mind control, flight, fucking space magic, like everything you can do with magic, these two can do. Think Strange versus Fate, right? There's too much that they can do to like list off the powers and then compare their power sets. Like they can both do a lot. So who can do more things isn't really a factor here. What definitely is a factor is the character's power output and who they fought before, as well as the individual's attributes. So in terms of opponents, I mean, I don't know if I'd compare. What's her name? Shit, the girl from Final Fantasy VI, where she's got the green hair. I forget her name. It's been a very very long time. Um, but yeah, like she's this half esper, half human, fucking superpower, and her and a team like Kefka lost to her and a team of other people, who are undoubtedly superhuman in their own right, and Loki's lost to the Avengers, but like I don't I want to say the Avengers are probably held to a higher tier than the rest. You know what I mean? Than like these Final Fantasy VI characters. The other thing that I think is kind of a factor here. Loki's very smart. Loki's exceptionally smart. Kefka is not an idiot. He's very crafty, very intelligent, very plotting and manipulative, but he's also batshit insane. I don't think it would be too much of an issue for Loki, especially with Loki being, this trickster god who, you know, uses all these different illusionary tactics and everything to throw Kefka for a loop. Now, Kefka's immune to things like mind control and whatnot, from what I remember, but, I think just the intelligence factor and just the scale of power that we're looking at here, um, I mean, this would be and this would be in a neutral location, so like Kefka wouldn't have like his tower to just smite Loki, to like be shooting beams at Loki, and this wouldn't be in like Asgard where, you know, there's like a fucking teleporter every time. You see what I mean? This would be this is a very close fight, I would think, just because like I said, these are two fucking mad gods fighting each other. But I think Loki gets the upper hand with intelligence and slightly more stability of mind. He's an egomaniac, but that doesn't doesn't stop too much. And also just the scale of character he's fought. I'm gonna give this one to Loki. Kefka seems like he'd win, just from the appearance of things, but like I said, guys fought fucking Thor. The guys fought fucking Thor. Never won, but Kefka also got beat by four, by a psychic girl and then three dudes with swords. So I mean, whatever. But yeah, giving this one to Loki. Remember to follow me on Twitter at VerbalEngine95. VerbalEngine95.